Hey everybody, it's Carm here, and right over there, happy Halloween. Yeah, back to share some fun stuff here for the season. Honestly, it really feels like this is like a second take from last year's video. It's gone so fast, and a video from 2 years ago feels like less than a year. So yeah. Back on with also increasing amount of assorted characters here, as well as some tunes, some viewings, and some readings. I think a lot of this I've shown over the years, so I'll probably go a little bit quicker through them. I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but as well as there's some new additions, things I've been getting into more recently. Maybe I'll take a little more time with, but yeah, I'll start in with the reads. I've shown this before about Chicago horror hosts, Chicago TV horror movie shows, from Shock Theater to Svengoolie, our horror movie hosts. You got Svengoolie himself, who I'd grown up on and remember him from some of my earliest memories of television were from his show, at least 40 years ago. I like this statement here. Yeah, very, very fun thumbing through this, as I do every year at this time. This was something I had been wanting to get into for the longest time here. I finally picked this up not too long ago at the local collectible shop, Dune by Frank Herbert, which I'm sure many of you are aware of and probably read and would like to hear your own thoughts and impressions. Can't really say anything about it, just starting, but I had known about it for years and finally said, okay, I have to get this. And fitting too that the color scheme and it very much fits with the season. And I'm going to show what I've been watching here. Pretty much the same things. It's kind of my ritual. I think many of you understand that with, spoken of it before with music and different things. Certain times of year. There's just certain rituals that just they're kind of your own, and they're for certain times of year, just for they're yours. And this is something that's been every year at this time. I tend to watch this in the mornings in search of Leonard Nimoy. Of course, the show on a variety of subjects, ancient mysteries and paranormal and all kinds of things, conspiracies. Lots of fun. And along similar lines, the later sightings, In Search of was from mid-70s to the early 80s, and this was in the 90s. There's also a lot of this on YouTube where I watched a good deal of it from. And yeah, fun. It's fun for the evenings. A lot of things I watched were on YouTube, and I'll try to remember to link or at least list some of them below if you're interested in more recommendations. And of course there's the tunes. I'd shown this earlier in the year. It found this, it just came out in the last year. John Carpenter's third volume of the Lost Themes. I'd say really this is my favorite of them. I have all three and enjoyed them very much, but this one, something about this one, it's even more evocative and again, it's more of kind of like a campy, spooky than actually scary. But it is, it's dark, but in a fun way and perfect for the season. So yeah, definitely recommended very much. And this one is a wonderful gift from Bill at the Vinylverse earlier in this year, and what a cover. Yeah, Anna von Hauswolf. What's the title again? Yeah, All Thoughts Fly. Solo pipe organ. Very haunting. Really innovative in the way she's, literally and figuratively pulling out the stops, and just has a real surreal quality to it, sounding almost like it could be a number of other instruments aside from the organ. Again, kind of similar to Keith Jarrett's Hymns and Spheres from the 70s. but very much an original voice on her instrument. So beautiful stuff, and thank you once again, Bill, for a very thoughtful gift. Yeah, it's been wonderful. And a couple things here Gary had reminded me of that he had been getting into, old pal Cosmic Pickle. The Tangerine Dream Chandra albums, Phantom Fairy, 2 volumes of this from to the 2000s, late 2000s and into the teens. Here's volume 2. And these are basically Edgar Froese solo albums, just under Tangerine Dream's name, but really harks back to the early stuff, sequencer based, but yet also melodic and accessible. And it's kind of a science fiction story that I think he wrote it himself. It's kind of, I think, partially based on other things, but basically his story, and very much ties in with the season. So he's kind of reminding me of that. So yeah, very enjoyable revisiting these, being reminded of them. Speaking of Gary, another thing he had turned, I think he turned quite a few of us onto this. In his own videos as well as posting the album, Ghost Gallery by Tom Willett. Eerie tales based on true stories. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Just his voice is perfect for this. He plays keyboards along with it, and just yeah, just again, it's that kind of campy, fun feel to it more than really scary, but still, it's really for anybody, I'd say. Yeah, Ghost Gallery. And another one he turned me on to is UFO Crash at Roswell, audio documentary. Donald Schmidt. It really is like one of those TV shows, kind of a whodunit type thing, but just on a CD. So you're hearing all this archival stuff, all these interview snippets. Sounds like you're hearing it off of shortwave radio. So it has this really takes you back in time, and it's just a lot of fun. And yeah, something that fits in quite nicely. Old favorite here, the Nightcrawlers. Peter Gulch, Tom Gulch, Dave Lunt, synthesizer trio. Been referred to as New Jersey's answer to Tangerine Dream, although I'd say they're quite original and have very much their own sound. It's a double album set, both on CD and LP. Highly recommend it if you want to hear some wonderful analog, original, yet you could still hear the influence of the German electronic musicians, but very dark, very haunting, and very raw, which I really like about it. This is a beautiful one here by Donna and Clement, Another Sun. I'd mentioned I'd shown their Summerland album, I think in the summer, and like that's perfect for summer, of course. This is really an autumnal and kind of early winter album. Kind of cold, icy, very reflective, dark, mysterioso, organic electronic mixture. You have recorder, flute along with the synthesizers. So another one of those wonderful mergings of organic and synthetic, but it really sounds natural throughout. It really evokes this time of year, just the shorter days and just darker and quieter and more reflective overall. It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. And we have Franz Liszt. It's another solo organ album by Borgen. Not sure how I found out about this. It might have been from Colin Quigley, if you know him, CQ, doing his Crash Pad live streams. I think he was playing some of this. I had known of Franz as being piano based. This is organ. Similar to a lot of things like Bach. This is more, I'd say there's more of a wider dynamic in this. The quiet sections are so quiet, you turn it up and then it blasts at you, and on the crescendos, but it's worth hearing, and yeah, another thing that ties in quite nicely. Now this next one's a new one to me this year, a reissue of an album from 1991, Lycia, Ionia. And this is some really interesting stuff. Yeah, basically one person here is playing this. Mostly keyboards, synthesizer, guitar, and vocals, sung in this kind of very. It's monotonous in a way, but it's more trance-inducing. If I had to call this something, I'd say it's maybe dream goth. Like dream pop, but in a goth approach style. It's different than a lot of stuff that I've been into, but it's something that's just a perfect Halloween album. And yeah, the vocals have this kind of gauzy effect, like you're hearing them through mist or through a fog. The lyrics, if you're able to really home in on them, you could understand them, but they're kind of just drenched in that sound, that very deep sound. But definitely recommend if you like dream pop, but the darker side of it, and more distorted and rocky, but not upbeat rocking. It's different and quite good. Yeah, Lycia Ionia. Of course, had to play some of this. Yeah, Halloween House, Scary Sounds. Just kind of your usual, literally the sound of things that go bump in the night sort of thing. So it's very fun. Forbidden Forest of Lost Souls, Haunted Organ. Yeah, very fun. A couple more things here. Richard Pinhouse, Rhizosphere. Artist who needs a little introduction to, I'm sure many of you, if you know him and Helden and kind of the French progressive electronic scene, in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, wonderful stuff here. Kind of dark, moody synthesizer soundscapes. I remember buying the LP of this back in the early to mid 90s as a blind/deaf buy, and it was like $3 or $4 I think at the time, and it was just yeah, it was a good choice. Seeing him on the back with his bank of synthesizers, but yeah, you had to get it. And another one by him, and Oren Embarchi, Tikkun, a live thing they had done together some years ago, which is really nice. Live electronics, and a CD and a DVD. Again, very, very dark, very experimental, very noisy and clangorous. This would be like going into the haunted house, in which there's a lot of spirit activity. So definitely could jar you a little bit, but if you're in the right frame of mind, it's just perfect. And finally, for the tunes, speaking of Dune, we have Dune. Klaus Schulze from his album closing out the 70s here, going in a bit of a different direction, but still quite good and still him. I play the title cut a lot. I'll put that on repeat and just sets up a nice mood and atmosphere. Of course, Arthur Brown on Shadows of Ignorance, and the third cut's a live bonus. But yeah, I think that's what I may do, is put on the title cut at a low volume and then read the book along with it. It would fit quite nicely. And yeah, these are the things I've been spinning, reading, and watching. And yeah, real quick, I wanted to share just a few my new characters here. I'd mentioned getting into ceramics earlier in the year. It's been out of all the different things I've tried in my lifetime, creatively, this has been the most fulfilling by far, I'd say. Even though I, have a long way to go as far as being what would be called "quote unquote" good at it. And Jenny and I were just talking. Hey Jenny, if you see this from B-Sides, mentioning she was interested in seeing some of these. So I think I've shown this before. Mr. Turtle here. That's a while back. A little cup. I have a lot of work to do on getting my handles right, but on these, but kind of sort of like Easter Island Moai figures, attempting a little a little Frankenstein action on this one. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun, and it's yeah, I just never you know, to try this, to do something new in midlife is really can be revelatory. If you know, just the feeling of doing these is just I need a little work. This is my first attempt at a jack-o'-lantern, but and yeah, it's just been really just very fulfilling, you know, and like anything else, you know, you're at it, go at it long enough, you'll get better at it, and yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. And yeah, they don't have names or anything yet. They're kind of like oh, the mouth just came off of this one. To redo that, but they're kind of like my Gorvo character that I had mentioned before, that my username was based off of. You know, character I'd made up when I was a kid. So they're all kind of like little variations on that character. And yeah, I guess some of them also fit in with Halloween. So yeah, just wanted to share them, and again, the different things I've been listening to, reading, and watching. And hoping you're all having a fun day, whatever you do. And yeah, stay happy and safe and fun, and yeah. So hope we're all doing well, and on to the next one. Peace, love, joy, and happy Halloween.